Welcome again. In this lesson, we continue the chapter of personal hygiene and strategies. In our previous lesson, we learned how to determine the hygiene skills to be taught and performance of individuals in hygiene skills. Today, we will focus on teaching strategies that are the most commonly used in special education. I hope that end of the lesson you will explain some strategies like chaining procedures, prompting, modeling, activity-based, and naturalistic teaching. Also, you will explain how the learned skills can be generalized and maintained. Let's start to strategies with prompting. Prompting defines as instructions, gestures, demonstrations, touches, and or other things that we arrange or do to increase the likelihood that children will make correct responses. Actually, we use prompting in our lives. It is not just for people with special needs. Also, we use promptings to learn new skills. For example, let's say that you don't know how to cook cookie and you want to learn it. So in this situation, you watch some recipe videos on YouTube, then you cook what you watched on the video, and this is the learning style. Or let's say that you have a child who is in early childhood, and this you want to teach buttoning the dress for this young child. This buttoning skill is little difficult and maybe just a little complex for young children. So in this situation, you hold your child's hands, then button up the shirt with your child as by holding your child's hands to help and teach this skill. These are some examples for prompts for our daily lives. Let's see the types of promptings. Physical prompts, model prompts, verbal prompts, visuals, and gestures. Let's start with physical prompts. Physical prompts involve physically guiding the child to help him or her perform the target skill. For instance, the therapist or teacher can take the child's hand to lead them to different location, guide the child's hand to draw a letter, or move the child's hand to teach proper teeth brushing technique. Let's see an example here, then I'm sure you will understand better. By the way, there are some videos in this lesson, and some of them are not shows on hygiene skills. So I want you to focus on the how this strategy is used. Okay, this is very important. So if you don't see any hygiene skill on this example video, don't worry. I just wanted you to focus on the how to do it. Okay, so our first video is about physical prompt. Let's see it.
Okay, Mayrin, sort.
Let's continue with the model prompts. Model prompting refers to performing the target skill to show what the child is supposed to do. For example, when teaching a child the correct way to wash hands, the therapist or teacher may need to demonstrate to the child the step-by-step process of hand washing. Let's see an example here.
Okay, Owen, I'm going to show you how. Are you listening? I'm going to show you how to fold a hand towel. Okay, look. Good job, Owen.
The next prompt is verbal prompts. Verbal prompts are considered to be the least intrusive of all prompt types. And verbal prompting consists of providing verbal assistance, such as a verbal cue, a hint, or providing a part of the answer. For example, let's say that you teach hand washing to your student, then you can say like, turn on the tap, or take a soap, this kind of things. Okay, let's see an example here.
It's time to get dressed. Go put your coat on. Your boots. And your hat. Great job.
And the next prompt is gestural prompts. Gesture prompts include gestures such as looking at an object, pointing, reaching, nodding, or touching an object. Let's say that you teach hand washing again, and if you use gesture prompts, you behave like, maybe you don't say turn on the tap, but you show the tap. Okay, this is the difference between gesture prompts and other prompts. Let's see an example here. I'm sure you will understand better now.
All right, put the items in the bag. Okay.
And the next one is visual prompts. Visual prompts use different types of images, such as visual sketches, videos, photographs, drawings, and pictures. And if you use visual prompts, you, in general, many teachers use some pictures. Let's say that you teach teeth brushing for your student. If you want to use visual prompts, you prepare a material which includes pictures for all steps. Okay, if let's say that teeth brushing includes 10 steps, so you prepare some pictures for each step. I mean, 10 picture here. So when you start to teach your students, when this child start to brush her teeth, he will look at the picture, and then he will do whatever he sees on this picture. This is the idea of visual prompts. Let's see an example here, and I'm sure you'll understand it.
Okay, Owen, we're going to sort out the objects. Look. Okay. Sort them out in the baskets.
There's such a good example here. I want you to show an example that all prompts are together for one skill, for hand washing, and how to use this prompts when you teach hand washing for your student. It's very helpful, and I'm sure you will understand better now.
Gesture prompts are any time we point, touch, look, or give a nod towards the task or task materials. Model prompting is when we show our child what to do. In many cases, video modeling is also an effective prompting method because your child can re-watch the video many times. Physical prompts are any time we physically guide our child to complete the task, such as guiding them by their shoulders or elbows, or even hand-over-hand guidance.
Now, you don't have to use this hierarchy exactly as we've explained it. You should individualize it to your child. For example, you might find that a visual prompt, such as this one, might really help your child complete something like the hand washing routine.
The next strategy is chaining procedures. Chaining encompasses the teaching of steps in skill analysis. As you remember from the previous lesson, we learned how to analyze the skills. With these chaining procedures, you use these skill steps to teach everyone, to teach each one. There are three types of chaining procedures: forward chaining, backward chaining, and total task chaining. At first, we will look at the forward chaining and backward chaining. For these two chaining procedures, there's one common point here. In every lesson or in every teaching session, you will focus on teaching just one step. Let's say that you want a skill that includes 4 steps, but in the first lesson, you have to just, I'm sorry, it's not first lesson. In one lesson, you aim to teach just one step, and other steps are not necessary. You don't aim to teach these steps, but you will focus on teaching for just one step. This is the common point, but there's a difference in forward chaining and backward chaining. For forward chaining, you start to teach from the first step to last step. In backward chaining, you start to teach last step to first step. I know it sounds a little weird, but I'm sure you will understand better. Let's have a look at this picture. You can see a target here, and please look at the forward chaining. You will see targets, and you want to teach a skill, and this is your goal. Okay, this red one. And let's say that this skill includes 4 steps. In the first lesson, you will just teach for step 1. But how is it like? Okay, what about other steps? Okay, it's like that. For step 1, you will prompt your students, maybe physically, maybe modeling, I don't know, whatever your student needs. And for other steps, you will do nothing. I mean, you just try to complete these steps, and the steps will be completed by you, by a teacher, by a parent. Okay. Let's say that this child this child has little difficulty to learn this skill, this step, and let's say that step one, in the first lesson, this child couldn't learn the step one, and you continue to teach this step one in the second lesson. Okay. In the second lesson, let's say that this child learned it. Okay. In the third lesson, you will start again to teach this skill. But for step one, you don't help your student. You don't give any prompts because your student knows how to do it, how to do this step. And when it comes to step two, you prompt your students, and when it comes to step three and step four, you will complete this steps and skills on behalf of your students. Maybe you can. Is it possible you should finish all other steps? I mean, step three and step four. Or if it's not possible, you can hold your students' hands and finish together. But you don't aim to teach, or you don't expect from your student to learn step three and step four. And let's say that in the next lesson, I mean fourth lesson, you don't prompt, you don't give any prompt for step one and step two. And when it comes to step three, this is your aim. This is your aim for this lesson. You prompt your student, and step four will be done by you. Okay. And end of the last step, it goes on like this. Let's explain the backward chaining. In backward chaining, as I said before, you focus on to teach just one step, but it's a little confusing and different from the forward chaining. This is the target here. Okay, this is the red one, and you want to go there. You want to teach whole steps, but you will start to teach from the step four. How is it like? Okay, start to skill, and step one, step two, and step three are done by you. Then stop and prompt for step four. Okay, you don't give any prompt for step one, step two, and step three. You just give prompt for step four. Let's say that in first lesson, your student learn it. Your student learn step four. Okay, your aim is to teach step three for the second lesson. When it comes to second lesson, for step one and step two will be done by you. And when it comes to step three, you stop and prompt your students. Then for step four, you don't give any prompt because your students can do this. And it goes on like this. Okay, this is the direction of the backward chaining here. As I said before, chaining, there are three types of chaining procedures: forward chaining, backward chaining, and total task chaining. We learn forward chaining and backward chaining. please remember, for forward chaining and backward chaining, you teach just one step in one teaching session. But for total test chaining, it's not like that. You focus to teach every single steps in just one teaching session. This is the difference from the backward chaining and forward chaining, okay? Please see an example here. I'm sure you will understand better, and you will see all three types of chaining procedure on this video, and it's very helpful. Please watch this video very carefully.
All right, so let's take a look at a forward chaining procedure with hand washing. As you see, the first step of the task analysis is being taught first, and then every step after that will be physically prompted. When he has mastered the first step, then we will move on to the first 2 steps, then the first 3 steps, etc. I do want to note that I do have consent to record this video and release it. All right, now we're going to take a look at backward chaining procedures for hand washing. As you see, we're physically prompting every step except the last one. When he's at an independent level with the last step, then we'll move on to the last 2 steps, last 3 steps, last 4 steps until we are at step 1. So now we're seeing a total task chaining procedure with hand washing. We are using least to most prompting and prompting through each step of the behavior chain.
And there's another strategy here, modeling. Modeling procedures are instructional strategies that involve demonstrating a specific skill or skill component as a form of cue for correct performance. There are 4 types of modeling here. The first one is Lee modeling. Lee modeling is like that. As a special education teacher, you demonstrate the skill for your student, and you show how to do the skill, and your student watch you. Then your student will do the skill. And for video modeling, it is used very common in special education. Your students watch how to do this skill on the screen, maybe from tablet, from computer, from mobile phone, it doesn't matter. Your students watch the video to learn how to do this skill, and after that you encourage your student to do what he watched on the tablet, for example. And video self-modeling is a little funny because your student will watch herself. You record your students while he is doing the skill. After that, you record on camera, and then your student will watch herself on screen. Then you encourage your student to do this do this skill as he watched himself. The last modeling type is point of view video modeling. Point of view video modeling is when the target behavior or skill is recorded from the perspective of what the learner will see when he performs the response. It is quite similar with video modeling, but difference is recording angle is a little different. In video modeling, you see whole person, but for point of view video modeling, you don't see a whole person. And there are many examples for each types of modeling, but our time is limited, so I can't show you all examples. But I want you to show you for video modeling. Please watch it carefully. It's very helpful for you to learn it better.
I have to get ready to go to my next class.
Ready?
Now I have to get ready to go to my next class. Turn in my classwork.
The last strategy is activity-based strategy. Activity-based interventions approaches are based on the principles of applied behavior analysis and focus on teaching skills through child-centered and everyday activities. Actually, hygiene skills are very suitable for this strategy. Let's say that you want to teach your students hand washing skill, and you can teach this skill after lunchtime or after the art lessons. It's possible, and you don't have to plan any time for teaching this skill. So it's very helpful for students to learn in naturalistic environments. So let's see an example here. This example is not about hygiene skill, as I mentioned before, but please try to understand the idea behind the activity-based strategy, and then you can adapt your knowledge for hygiene skills.
In this example, the technician misses the chance for a learning opportunity when the client approaches the whiteboard and markers. Let's watch again as the technician captures this learning opportunity to teach the client her colors.
What color do you want?
Green.
Green, good job. We could color a flower with green, or we could color grass.
And then color a red.
What color do you want?
Red.
Red, good job telling me.
We learn the most commonly used strategies, teaching strategies. Let's see the see the two principles of special education. The first one is generalization. It's quite important. Generalization described as ability for a student to perform a skill under different conditions. Learning a new skill for people with intellectual disabilities is great, but they have some difficulty to demonstrate and do these skills in different situations. So when you teach something in the class, it is not finished. Teaching is not finished here. So you have to consider the generalization. There are three types of generalization here: material, environment, and individual. Material generalization is like, let's say that you teach your students hand washing again, of course, with this first tap style, okay? And this turn on and turn off style is different than the other taps. So when your students just learn hand washing just with this kind of tap, your student could have difficulty to turn on or turn off on different types of taps. So you need to generalize this skill with different materials, with different tools, different types of taps here. And the second one is environment. Some students have difficulty to do the skills in different places. Sometimes parents say that my child can do this skill at home, but he cannot do this skill at school. This is a very big problem. So if you teach a skill in the school, please be sure that your student can do this skill at home, at mall, at different houses. So you have to plan it. You have to continue to teach in different places. And the third one is individual generalization. Individual generalization is like this. During the teaching of something, teachers generally use some verbal prompts. And if your student gets used to get this prompts from his teacher, there is a possibility to have a difficulty to get this to understand this prompts from, if these prompts are coming from the different person. So if you teach this skill on yourself, please provide your student to get the verbal prompts or other things to do with different people. Another principle is the maintaining. Maintenance refers to the continued performance of a skill over time once all teaching has ceased. This is the one of the biggest problem for people with intellectual disabilities, because when you teach something today, there is a big possibility to forget this skill, for example, after 2 weeks. And teachers don't like that because you had to work a lot to teach the skills for these students. So you have to plan how this child can't forget this learned skills. Hygiene skills are very suitable for it, for planets, because we have to use hygiene skills. We have to do hygiene skills very often and in our daily life. So if you plan some routines in your class, and if you put some hygiene skills in these routines, your students can learn easily these skills, and because they repeat these skills for many times or every day, so that they can't forget any skill, any learned skill. This is the end of the lesson. Thank you so much for joining and listening our lesson. I hope you enjoy it. See you in next lesson.